Are you keeping up appearances to hide your addiction from family and friends and yourself?
Welcome to Stay in Your Lane, a sobriety show. I'm Mark,
And I'm Marty.
and we're so glad you're here to join us on this casual conversation about sober living.
Yeah, remember to like us, subscribe, tell your family and friends if you enjoy the content, because we're always looking for new members and people's lives that we can touch and help improve.
Excellent. And we would love for you to be a guest. If there's a topic that you'd like to help us discuss, please let us know and we'll get something scheduled.
Today's topic, I think, is going to be a really good one. Um, it, it, you know, I'm kind of biased because I think all of our topics are really good. But I think that, um, we all have been there where we do certain behaviors that we think normalize us in the eyes of others and, in our own perception of who we are, right? To protect our addiction.
Yes, exactly. And I think when you say normalize, what we mean is normalize in a sense so people don't think we're struggling with something.
Commonly accepted.
Correct. Yeah. And I know, Marty, I'll let you go first and then we can, see where the conversation branches out.
Okay. Yeah. So in our last show, or one of the shows before, we talked about the extent that you go to protect your addiction. And during that show, we brought up about the extent that we go to make our addictions disappear, or to cover them up. And one of my big things was I used to be able to get up and work 11 hours a day, go to work. Beforehand, I'd get up and go to the gym. And my other drinking buddy, she would say, I don't know how you do that. You get up, you go and run on the treadmill, you work out after a full night of drinking, right? But that was my, checking in to make sure that I didn't have a problem. And in actuality, it was just making the problem worse long term, because I was normalizing that I could get up and, be productive and go to the gym. That's what normal people do. People without problems, without addictions. And so I was just covering up my addiction with normal behaviors, so that they were kind of camouflaged for my family and friends. But most importantly, they were, kind of hidden, shoved under the rug for myself in order to feel better about what was truly going on.
Oh, yeah. In a sense, you created the illusion, and as did I, but we created the illusion for ourselves. If I can get up and go to the gym, if I can go to work every day, this really isn't a problem.
You know what I like to label it? Functioning alcoholic.
Oh, right. Yes.
Right? I mean,
Totally.
it should be that should be fictional alcoholic instead of functional.
Right? Exactly.
I was making up my story.
Right. Well, and I think functioning alcoholic, I know I used that term hundreds of times over the years because I knew that I drank probably more than a lot of people drank, but I was still living up to all my obligations. I was going to the gym. I was, building a salon. I was, staying on top of my work. And I think that is the illusion we create for ourselves, because if we can keep up with all that stuff and continue to perform, then we have created an illusion for everyone else that we're okay.
Yes, for sure. Right. And I think that, we all do that. And it's once again safeguarding or protecting our addiction. But one of the major things that just struck me, and I wish that we had like this buzzer that go off to, then we came up with another show topic. But one of the things is, what we were doing is we were going through the motions. We weren't actually living in the moment, right? We were going through the motions to prove to ourselves that there wasn't a problem. But when you're actually living in the moment, and like if you were going to the gym to experience going to the gym and make yourself feel healthy instead of, putting on a facade, then you're living in the moment. So another, I don't want to get sidebarred, Mark.
Right.
But yeah, that's another show topic, right?
Right. Yeah. So what are some other ones for you? Is the
Um,
gym the main one that stands out to you, and work?
oh yeah. Let let me overcompensating with money. For families and friends. That noise that you're hearing is in the back, just so no one thinks that, sorry, that's my other computer banging. But yeah, so overcompensating with money, um, putting on a show for people that, I had more than what I had. And also like at Christmas times, birthdays, going out overboard, right? Because what a better way to, hide the truths than wrap them up in some fancy gift wrap for a birthday or a holiday.
Oh yeah. So, it's interesting just hearing you talking about that. I think there's another level of this that we can jump into. And I think it's not only maintaining and creating appearances so that people or ourselves don't think we're addicted, but I think it's also deflecting the
Absolutely.
addiction. Because, if you're buying extravagant gifts or you're picking up dinner for the whole table, you know, if I bought dinner for the 6 people at the table, chances are they're probably not going to remember that I had 17 martinis. So, I think, creating and maintaining an appearance, but also deflecting, attention off of yourself in ways like that are, it just dawned on me how powerful that was.
Absolutely. And I think that and it doesn't even have to be monetary, right? It can be like overdoing by giving to people like your time or your presence somewhere, or volunteering to do something. Because once again, how many times do we get out of our lane and get into somebody else's business, offering them advice on their relationship, when I've had, 7 cocktails, and all of a sudden I become a relationship guru, and am really, once again, I'm just keeping up appearances, because every time that I gave that relationship advice, I was never sustaining a true healthy relationship for myself. It was
Right.
always under 50 gallons of alcohol, or vodka.
Right. Well, and I think too, you just, in a sense, you just confirmed, my point earlier is, after so many drinks, you said you became a relationship expert. Well, becoming the relationship expert for your friend was also taking the attention off of yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that, there has to be a strong correlation between, maintaining and upholding appearances to protect our addiction, and also deflecting any energy that could be about us, onto other people.
What's so interesting now, and I think that we both experienced this, Mark, like over the summer when we went to Mexico and Puerto Vallarta, is that the 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 new treasure of time that you get out of sobriety, from not having to keep up these appearances, not being everybody's, relationship therapist, and not having to go out of your way to, protect or cover up your addiction. You get so much more quality time. You get to
Right.
be present, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's another really good segue into the fact that maintaining and upkeeping all these appearances, really shatters any sort of healthy, normal boundaries with people. And I think that we subconsciously do that because not having the healthy boundaries helps protect us, or we think it helps protect.
Right.
So it's the illusion of protection. So I totally agree. Once we start shedding the need to keep those appearances up and be authentic, we have so much more time and can find ourselves so much more present in everything that we're doing.
You know what just struck me? Like this is like kind of like the just a small snippet into the look of now looking at my past addicted existence to my new sober existence, right? And it was like that one night stand where you were out at the club and you just met the hottest person. You thought, oh my God, they're just gorgeous, blah, blah. You take that person home, you have a good time. And then the next morning you wake up and you're feeling a little bit hungover, but you're more sober than you were intoxicated, right? And you look at that person like, oh my God, I slept with that person, and they're totally not as good looking as you thought. And so looking back at my intoxicated years, they weren't as really as good as I thought they were. They were a little bit uglier than I thought they were pretty at that time when I was intoxicated.
Right.
Was that a long ramble?
Just a little. It's a good point. I'm glad you went home with a lot of people you weren't attracted to.
Right. I have a lot of experience at that.
Thanks for being vulnerable with us.
Right, absolutely. That's what this show is about. Casual conversations, putting it out there, being vulnerable.
Right.
But
No,
yeah,
I think it's
think
true.
about
I think, I think we created an illusion of fun. And in a sober, clear state of mind, when you look back, a lot of it really wasn't fun. What's fun about not remembering what happened, or ending up with someone at home that, you really don't want there, or forgetting about the whole experience. So, it's a really valid point of, not being present at all in your life.
one of the things that looping back around to that, right? About keeping up appearances is one of the big things is like when you would go out to have dinner and then the person next to you orders a drink. So to keep up appearances, and fit in, well, I'd order a drink, right? And then I order a drink and then they're doing the same thing. So they order a drink. And then all of a sudden, 12 drinks later, I don't even remember, what I had for dinner or how the hell am I driving home. But, so it's just
right. And you probably end up paying for dinner because
right.
you want to, again, maintain that appearance that you're in control.
Great example. That's
Yeah. And you not only supported everyone else's bad habits, but you've, broken the bank. You've, yeah.
take it to the next step, or the next stumble, I should say, is that when you left, you were keeping up appearances because your friends were getting in the car behind the wheel to drive themselves home. So you certainly were well enough to drive yourself home because you're keeping up your appearance when you should have really been calling for an Uber,
Right.
or even not gotten so drunk in the first place. But it's all about keeping up that appearance.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I remember in my first few months of sobriety, it was the most uncomfortable thing for me to order anything other than a cocktail when I went out to dinner. And thank goodness that subsides rather quickly, but it made me realize how programmed I was, that was the comfortable start to the dining experience.
What really blew my mind is when I went to my behavioral psychologist to get over my addiction. Was he's like, Marty, I know that you think that the rest of the world is drinking, but only 10% of the population are drinkers, right? I was like, what? And it was really like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't fathom it because everybody that I hung out with we're drinkers.
Right. Hey, birds of a feather.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm keeping up appearances, but I'm doing it with the wrong crowd.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. No, I think this was such a great topic, and it really resonates, and I think it continues to give me strength in, staying on this path, because to be present and to experience joy on a daily basis is so worth the sobriety.
I'll seal that with my approval.
I'm so glad. If you haven't liked or subscribed to our show already, please do so. And we are so thankful that you joined us, and we look forward to seeing you again on our next show.
Absolutely. And bring your family and friends with you. We'd love them to experience it as well.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.